Yeah, in fact, I'd never heard of an investigative grand jury before, so joining us this morning is Dwane Cates, a criminal defense attorney. Hey, Dwane, good to see you.
Good morning.
All right, so explain to us, normally with a regular grand jury, normal citizens, right? These aren't like police officers.
Right.
And they hear some evidence, but not in the way that this grand jury.
Well, the way they normally do the grand jury is they impanel 18 citizens, and then the prosecutor and the case agent will give evidence and testimony to the grand jury, and the grand jury decides what charges to bring. In an investigative grand jury, they actually bring in the witnesses in front of the grand jury. And part of the reason they do that is so they can get people under oath, so that, that if they lie to the grand jury, it's a crime and they can go to jail for it. So they get to question the witnesses under oath, and it's a more thorough process than just the regular grand jury process.
Is it also part of building a stronger case?
Well, it is, because again, you have witnesses' testimony under oath about what's going on. See, the normal grand jury, the case agent, the officer, can hearsay in. He could say, well, so-and-so told us this, and so-and-so told us that. Where it's an investigative grand jury, the person comes in and tells the grand jury that.
I saw, this is what happened, I witnessed this.
Yep, exactly. And they can show the video, that's security videos and all the evidence that they have. They can show all that to the grand jury. Then the grand jury decides what charges to bring.
Well, it seems like all the investigators in this case really wanted to be thorough. They watched some 600 pieces of video, and they took some time bringing these charges, right? They wanted to get it all right. So let's talk about going forward. When you talk about a first-degree murder and a kidnapping charge, is it possible that these teenagers and young adults could be facing the death penalty for these actions if they're found guilty?
Well, there's always the possibility of a death penalty if there's a first-degree murder charge. Now, it's pretty difficult. The way it works is they will allege that they're going to ask for the death penalty, and then
prosecutors.
And then the defense attorneys get to put on a whole presentation to the court why it shouldn't be a death penalty. And it's really, really hard to get death penalty cases against teenagers.
So as we kind of look ahead, I'm sure we're going to kind of be breaking apart some of these details, and the witnesses that were sharing those details with authorities. Is all that open? Is it, if somebody were to file like a FOIA request or something, I mean, that is something that is open to the public? Well,
grand juries are usually done in secret, but you can get the defense attorneys can get the grand jury transcripts. I don't think with a FOIA request you can just go get the grand jury test.
Yeah.
And this is such an interesting case because obviously emotions are running high. We have a 16-year-old, a teenager, really well liked in the community, who ends up murdered. You've got a lot of defendants here who have wealthy parents, access to legal representation. We don't see cases like this very often.
Well, you don't. I mean, they do happen. I mean, there are, it's not just the poor people who get arrested for murder. So there are, I've been retained privately on, several murder cases and done several murder trials where the people actually paid me as a private attorney to do them. So it's not unheard of, but that makes it more difficult for the police, because the better quality of representation they have, the harder it is to get the conviction, and they have to dot every I and cross every T, because a good defense attorney will try to tear the whole thing apart. And
I think also kind of touching on that is what's, I think, broken up the hearts of a lot of people in the East Valley is that there's a lot of young people here involved. So it makes you think, what's happening in this community.
Yeah, and young people, the part of their brain that says maybe I shouldn't do this isn't fully formed yet. Okay, and you also get group think when there's a group thing going on and people just get caught up in it. And younger people are more susceptible to that. But, it's sad. It's sad what's happening to our youth right now.
Yeah, maybe we got a glimpse into what the defense may be in this case with a couple of those points. Dwane, thank you so much. And of course, we will be right on top of this case for you throughout the whole thing.